update on the COVID list? Anyone come off or go on?
Nothing to add. We're in the same situation we were yesterday.
At this point, would you anticipate the 3 who are currently on will not travel?
No, that hasn't been determined 100% just because of they're still in the protocol, still testing available.
When is the drop dead day tomorrow? I mean, there's no way he can go game day. Zach Martin, there's no way.
Zach?
Yes.
Well, we'll see. Yeah,
I'm just saying, is that even realistic though? If you traveling game day,
I think if there was a player that could do it, Zach would be in that group of players that could do it.
I think some of us are just a little confused about the timeline because of the 5 days and then the testing and then the 2 tests in the 24-hour period. So technically, I guess he tested positive on Saturday then? Is that how it worked?
I'm not your timeline guy. I think it was Saturday. It was in the morning because I saw Jim shortly after it happened. So that's when, whenever we placed him in the protocol, obviously the testing was that day. Well, what day did you guys find out?
Saturday.
Okay. Well, today's Friday.
We found out Sunday, but it's
I
Saturday.
think he tested positive Saturday, probably.
Yeah, but it's an in-season Friday today, so I have no idea what day you're talking about. I don't know what day you're talking about. Yeah.
actually, we had a week of football day.
Yeah, no doubt.
How did Lyle Collins look in the potted work yesterday?
How did he look? I thought he practiced well. I thought, 2 days in a row now, I thought he put together 2, really good back-to-back practices.
Donovan looking good too.
Yeah, Donovan had full dose yesterday, so we'll see how he responds. Everything so far, looks good. We're going to do the mock game today, but Dono took the majority of the reps. He didn't go every snap, but he took a full slate of reps yesterday.
Back on Leo, is the stinger gone, or he just playing through it?
Well, I mean, it's gone. I mean, it's we wouldn't. He would never pass the physical to come back. The doctor had to release him, had to clear him based on his neck. Yeah. So
Not an issue. He's just playing through some pain or whatever else.
correct. Yeah.
Did you go back to in-person meetings and all that stuff today?
Yes, we're full slate back to normal meetings today.
If there's a silver lining, Coach, does it help at all that he got Connor McGovern, let me clarify, that he got the 8 starts last year and got a lot of preseason reps?
I think clearly Connor's ready to go. He finished strong last year and really has had a challenge, bouncing back and forth all training camp through left guard and right guard. So, but, it gives him a chance to settle in with all the reps this week. So, but yeah, I think his experience last year definitely helps him.
Does it help? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, again, finding another silver lining, does it help at least that you got this runway for Connor McGovern, finding out when you did about Zach Martin, as opposed to finding out, say, Tuesday or Wednesday?
Well, definitely. I think anytime you have a chance to give a player who's going to be starting on short notice, all the reps, and we're technically today's Friday, and then he had both sets of reps both Wednesday and Thursday, so he's had a chance to exercise all the segments of the game plan. So yeah, he'll be ready to go.
How are you handling your captains this year?
Same as last year. We'll be three game day captains selected each week.
Why do you do it that way? Why not have just one set of guys the entire time?
I think leadership is not just leadership opportunity is not just really directed towards potentially 3 people. I think every man in the locker room has a leadership responsibility, and I think the way I've always looked at it from a head coach perspective, how many opportunities can you create to develop leadership? So, and I think the fact of being a captain it's a huge deal. If you just would see the way the players respond to it in the Saturday night meeting, will be the Thursday morning meeting this week, but the way they respond to it, and it means something. It means something to get that picture taken, before the the flip of the coin, and it's just the way I've always done it. And I think it's the right way to do it because it spreads the responsibility, the recognition, the importance throughout your football team.
You're ever mindful of if you pick a guy that players are like, they picked that guy? Like, really, that should be the captain?
No, I don't see that as a.
When you look at a guy like Tom Brady, who's in his 22nd year, says he still feels like he's in year 2 and throwing like he's in his 20s, studying a guy like that in his game, what stands out on tape at this point in his career?
I think it's a great example of how you have to be. I mean, it's a great game. We talked about it some in the team meeting today, and just how fortunate we all are to be part of it on whatever level. Most importantly, the players. I mean, the opportunity to play in front of a stadium that's there to cheer the competition, regardless of what side of the sideline you're on. So there's definitely a youthfulness that has to exist to be successful, and I think he's in as good as an example, if there ever was one that's played the game or any sport of way you need to go about it, and I think it's he exudes that with every time he lines up. So very consistent. I think it's a big part of his continued success.
Ty was limited in practice. Any concerns about Ty for Thursday night?
No, I think he's good to go. Yep.
You mentioned that the Thursday morning, is that how you kind of alter your schedule for night games, where you'll have your team meeting on Thursday mornings?
Correct. Yes.
What's the worst part of a night game? Is it just trying to get?
It's a long day. Yeah, I mean, the worst part of night game is a long day. It's important in night games to, activate everybody. Get everybody up. Move them around. We have special team. We have a special teams meeting, an O&D, walk through, and then finish with a team meeting. So I think it's no different than. It's all based off of how you practice within 24 other games. Everything's calculated. So, and this is a challenging schedule because we do play a number of different times and days. We go Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Sunday to start the year. So getting into routine, creating regularity is something I think we all try to achieve with our team, and so the ability to have the launch practice coincide with the final meeting, that's something that's all calculated.
What's been your process with Dak Prescott and Kellen Moore when you're looking at tape, you're putting in plays? Like, what does that look like in a game week for you three?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, Kellen's running the offense, and I think I go back to when I was hired. I mean, it was a big decision. It's a great opportunity that he has, but to call it, you have to install it, and that's something that having a chance to step away and look at it. So, make no bones, Kellen's running the offense. I think him and the staff in year two is, I think they've hit their stride. You can see the way they, go through the game plan process and so forth. And, Dak had some free time to work, ahead on Tampa. So there was some one-on-one conversations, between the three. With just more the outlook of it. But at the end of the day, this is what I believe in. And as an offensive coordinator, I've always worked for a defensive head coach, and then obviously worked for myself for a number of years. But I think you have to believe in, the process of the game planning, and because if you don't install it, you don't believe in it, you're really not going to call it in a game. And I think that connection between the play caller and the quarterback is the most important relationship, and I think Kellen and Dak do a great job of that.
As a head coach, you want to get off to a fast start and a good start, but you also talk about building over the course of the season. How do you kind of balance that? And it's a little different in each year. This year you haven't had a lot of time on task offensively, so you might have slightly different expectations for the start of where that is.
Well, I think you really got to just cut it up. Number one, you got to do whatever the hell it takes to win the game. So, regardless of who you're playing, where you're playing them. Your first win on the road is I always thought was a threshold you wanted to get over as quickly as possible, because road wins are clearly tougher than home wins. So I think the fact of how you prepare for that is the most important thing. And like today, on our schedule, this is Fast and Furious Friday. So our whole focus is on the fast start and a furious finish. So we'll spend a whole lot of time, on how the game's going to start, and a number of reps. I think there's going to be 30 reps of the 80-man jog through today is going to be on the final segments of the game. So, I believe in what you put into things is what you get out of it. We spent an incredible amount of time on the final, plays and things and situations in games. We felt that was clearly coming out of last year. We needed to improve, and I like where we are as a team there. And I think, like any game, you want to get off to a fast start. So, you look at it between the start of the game, the first 15 plays at each side, and then the final 2 minutes. That's really 30%, 35% of the football game. So just trying to make those focal points tight and have our guys, clear-minded and, neutral thinking, just to get out there and play.
It's a 17-game season. You said do whatever you can to win. Is that one reason why the other day you basically all but ruled Martin out, and now just some wiggle room that he could play?
I'm not tying those two together. I think it's a good story. Can't wait to read it. But trust me, I walk in there trying not to create storylines. That's for sure. But I just think with Zach, and this protocol is new for I know this is year 2, but we're still Jim Mauer's on the conference calls, and we get the feedback and where we are, and that stuff's still a little bit of a moving target. So I don't think Zach's going to play in the game, but in the same breath, I'm just following the guidelines of the protocol.
Throughout training camp and the preseason, where have you seen the most growth from Isaac Alarcon?
The most improvement? Well, I'll say this: moving him inside's really helped him. I think he's a lot more comfortable at guard than tackle. I think if he was standing there, he'd tell you the same. So that part has made it easier for him. And I think, as a young player, like all the young guys, and it's tough training because you're trying to play 2 positions, you're trying to learn the special teams and all that. So I think anytime you can, tighten your window of focus, it'll help anybody. So I think that's clearly helped him. He's done a great job. I mean, clearly, what he's done in the weight room from last year to this year. I mean, he's in great shape, and he's just continued the climb of getting familiar and from a technical standpoint, everything he's asked to do. So playing with a lot more confidence.
Coach Connor McGovern, obviously he played center some in college, but primarily he's been a guard this campus. Is that just the mindset of a young player at this time, let him focus at the guard position?
Well, I mean, you have to look at, you're allowed to have, you're going to have 8 players up on the offensive line. So, within that rotation, you definitely want to have a third center. So Connor is definitely someone that's, potentially the third center in the game. So, I mean, it's, you're always focusing on your interior players because, your centers have to train as guards and vice versa because just from a communication standpoint. So, because they all make the same line calls, and particularly when you get into loud stadiums, the guards have a responsibility to help the centers, or vice versa. So that group's all trained the same way. And as far as his ability to play center, it's just there's only so many snaps and reps, so there's a lot of individual time that goes into that, for both corners. So yeah, I think his experience, college and last year, he's definitely a lot more experienced than he was this time last year for this opportunity at right guard, and hopefully it won't get to him to play center.
Do you anticipate making some practice squad call-ups like you've done?
I mean, it's an option. Yeah, that's what we have a staff meeting today. We'll just kind of like our final review is how we feel like we're going to start the game, and just as I've already stated, we'll work on the end of the game. But we'll have a staff meeting afterwards, and then we'll just kind of put it all on the table and have a good idea. And actually, then Will McClay and I will meet later in the afternoon to just talk about the proposed 48. So I've always waited to this point to get it, and then with the Saturday practices, you got to get through the Saturday practice too.
Coach, you said that this feels like in some ways year 1 for you. So how anxious are you personally to get to this game on Thursday? Oh,
I'm excited. I'm excited because it's it is our first game. I think the environment that we're getting ready to play in is always fun. It feels like the first real game because you just last year was just such a mismatch of things leading up to the season. So I think clearly we're so much better prepared this year than we were last year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.